Sarah, is that you? Letting people in?
It's me, yes.
You're-
Sorry, I didn't realize I was logged in as you.
I'll stay co-host. Hi, everyone. I'm like, wait, there's me. I'm here twice. And I was like, who is that? It's Sarah.
It was from me dealing with all the storage issue yesterday.
Oh, great.
I thought I was logged out. Sorry.
Good. Awesome. I was like, what? I'm so confused.
Play of the tenancy. This time says 2002.
Hi, everyone. Come on in. Come on in. All right. Hi. Good to see everyone. Okay. Okay, good. We have dwindled down over that. I mean, we're packing him in there now, but that's the way it is. We always dwindle down a little bit as we go on with the challenge. People drop out. Okay. Hi, hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Okay. All right. So you can go ahead and post your pitch videos, but I want to talk about something else today. Well, first of all, I want to say this. Clearly, I'm not, if I'm not coaching you individually, I'm not really going to be able to really get in there and work the pitch videos. And some of your pitch videos, I mean, some of you are a little like more experienced actors that are in this. And so, like I saw Randall here, like Randall's a more experienced actor that's got major credits, and he's kind of really clear about who he is and what he's selling, I think. And so that's it. But I also think, like, for some of you, it's just about learning when less is more, when you need to scale it down, understanding that a confused mind doesn't buy, believing that, and really standing in your value as an actor and your confidence as an actor, not giving away your power. A couple of you, I talked about that on the feedback I gave you, that you were trying to be too many things, or you were like in weird sort of indiscriminate kind of ways giving away your power. Like, it would be really cool if you could set an appointment with me, and if it's okay with you, and saying things that are kind of like that, which are kind of like, you've got to come in always confident as a business person. You can't, and listen, if you've ever sat in auditions, you know what I'm talking about. Like, over 50% of actors will walk into an audition, and before they ever open their mouth, they will give away their power. They will bring their insecurity into the room with them. And so we all have to work on that as actors. But the other part of this is that, there's a lot of bad information out there, and a lot of people with negative things that tell actors, and they cut us down and they make us lesser than. I mean, sometimes I think, when I've been on sets before, that we are less important than the craft services people. And so, we have to claim our power much more than anyone else in the business. And I think it's sometimes why it helps that a lot of us are becoming multi-hyphenates now, writers, directors, producers, because when you say I'm an actor / director, or I'm an actor / producer, it already makes you feel a little bit more confident and gives you a more confidence. One of the people that is frequently on my panel, she's not going to be on my panel Saturday, but she's going to be our guest at our next content creation mastermind, is one of my past clients named Meredith Riley Stewart. Meredith Riley Stewart was someone that when I was working with her as a client, she got like pitching herself on the phone like instantaneously. In fact, there's a great story about her pitching herself to a major show on television and the casting director on the other end of the line saying, "Oh, I hate it when actors call." And she's like, "Okay, well, anyway." And she went on to pitch herself. She got the audition and she got the job. And so after that happened, I said to her, I remember saying to her, I was like, "You know what? I think that you need to do something else besides just act, because it's in your personality to be bigger than an actor." And I'm not saying an actor can't be bigger, but I think you need to go there now. Like I think you need to go George Clooney now. And so she went and she joined Women in Film. And the first thing that she produced was with Lake Bell, which was a webinar, which was a web series. And it got like all this hype and she did really well. She's now produced 3 films, one of them where she played opposite Mina Savari. And she just optioned a play to turn that into a movie. And so for you guys that are clients, she's going to be leading the next content mastermind. I think that's on April, whatever it is, the second Saturday of the month, and April 8th or whatever it is. But she's gonna be leading that. And I think it's important to listen to actors that are producers and directors and writers, because it makes you feel, it helps with that confidence thing, because our confidence and our value is constantly, in my estimation, chipped away at. We only have to be in London, New York, or Los Angeles, or wherever you live for about 6 months to be fully ensconced in the straitjacket of everything we're not supposed to do. And I just want you to know that you have the permission to go and get the career that you want to get. Stop waiting for it to be given to you. Go and get it. And I wouldn't tell you that if I didn't believe that it was possible for you. And I wouldn't tell you that if I hadn't seen literally over 1,000 actors do just that. But for some of you, you guys need a little work in your brand and how you speak about yourself and your professionalism. And that's fine, right? I'm not going to be able to deliver all of that in a group this size. And I want to give you another assignment before the end of this challenge. And we only have 3 more days left. So I just want to give you one more assignment. So what this assignment is I want you to get into the frame of mind differently than you've probably been in. Most of you have been in this frame of mind of either trying to get an agent or getting your agent to do something for you, or going to whatever audition you can scrounge up, whether it's on Actors Access or Mandy or something like that, whatever you're looking at every day to look for auditions. Some of you are constantly going and taking a new acting class, or some of you are constantly getting new headshots, right? Or constantly working on your website or your material. And what I want you to be thinking about is looking for acting work in a different way than you've probably most of you have been doing that, right? I mean, it's fine if you're submitting on Mandy or Actors Access or the freebie sites where you can submit, but most of that stuff is like lower level stuff. you're not going to find your higher level stuff on there. So one of the things that we do at Actors Fast Track is that we ask our clients to do a minimum of 5 outreaches a week to their customer base. So all of our clients know what they're selling, they know who they're selling to, and they have a sales plan. And how they outreach in a lot of different ways. They outreach on LinkedIn 3, via email, using maybe pitch videos or just a warm letter format. They reach out using Instagram. They reach out going to networking events or film festivals. They do it in a lot of different ways. The idea is to touch at least 5 of your, and not in a bad way, where show us on the doll where he touched you, Billy. No, I'm not talking about that, but like like touches, outreaches to your customer base, at least 5 of them a week. Now, most of our clients are doing way more than that. In fact, I think I told you guys that Catherine, who is one of our clients, we had a contest in November, and whoever did the most outreaches to their customer base in the time span of 23 days won a spot on my friend David's show, Face to Face with David. And the girl that won did 2,800 individual outreaches in 23 days. And those outreaches, it's a numbers game. Because she did that many outreaches, she is still booking things because of that. So the more you reach out, the more acting work you're going to book. Because here's the thing, as actors, we've been told it's all about luck, you don't have any control, you're a freelancer, like all this bullshit. But the truth is, it's just like any other sales process. The more you reach out, the more you'll work. And yes, it is about how you reach out and what you say and how you hold yourself, which we've been spending basically the last week on. And some of you, all of us actually could always better ourselves in that process. And it's not just about one outreach. I want to be really clear about that. When you read a sales and marketing book, they will tell you that you as a consumer need to see a product on average between 11 and 16 times before you will purchase it. So it's about the follow-up. So you want to make sure that you are not just sending out one pitch video. You might send out a pitch video, and then you might send out something else, and then you might send out something else. And then over a course of a year and a half, you can get up to 11 to 16 times that you sent something to this one individual person. And you don't just want to focus on casting directors. If you do happen to have an agent that's actually picking up the phone and pitching you and getting you out there, you actually don't need to spend any time on casting directors except for an occasional outreach to say hello and a thank you note after you get an audition. Like, for instance, if your agent is submitting you a lot and you're not getting any auditions, you find out who your agent is submitting you for, and you go and work on your relationship with those casting directors. But I would focus most of your time on producers and directors, and yes, writers, but producers and directors, and focus in on what you are most likely to book. So if you're funny, focus on the sitcom comedy people. If you are like Warrior, focus on Marvel and Vikings and those kind of people, right? If you're more procedural, focus on your dramas and your procedural type dramas. Like, know who's going to hire you and what is your quickest path to cash, and make sure you're taking a viable product in front of them that they need to do their job. So your assignment for today is to make 5 actionable steps that you are going to do next week. And those cannot be look for an agent. If you want to make 10 actionable steps you're going to take on your career, and one of them is start your agent search, you can do that. But I want 5 actionable steps that you're going to do towards your customer base. I want you to commit to those, write them down, put them in the Facebook group, and for all to see. This is what I'm going to do next week. I'm going to commit to this group that I'm going to take these 5 actions next week, right, towards my acting career, right? So it's not work on your website. It's not, it's not get new headshots. It's not go to acting class, it's like take 5 things. Some of you might have an opportunity to go to a film festival next week, or a film festival next week, or some of you guys might have the opportunity, some of you guys might just want to reach out to 5 people. I know I was going to show you pitch videos. It's not going to happen today. Maybe I'll get around to it tomorrow. I'm sorry. I'm dealing with a lot because we have our event on Saturday. So I've been dealing with a lot this morning. And so I apologize for that. But I also want to turn the car here because I want to make sure that you guys have some actionable steps that you're going to take with you. But I promise before the end of the week, I will show you some pitch videos that will help you see some really good ones that are gonna help you. And some of you guys have seen them before if you've done the challenges before and you've seen that. We will be doing another challenge in July, which will be about getting an agent. So that will be geared towards getting an agent. And then we will be doing one at the end of September again. So we'll do 2 more challenges as we go through the year. I'm hoping that most of you can make the event on Saturday. If for some reason you cannot, please, let us know what's up with you. We do have a webinar coming up next week, I believe, with James. Yeah, let me tell you when that is. So we have a webinar with James, and that is Thursday, the 16th at 1:00 Eastern time. You will receive an email about that. James and I meet once a month. He's my good friend that has coached many of my clients, including Angela Yo on really big auditions. As you guys know, she was in the movie She Said, or maybe you don't know, she was in the movie She Said. She signed with Identity, and he's coached her several times. He's a Yale graduate. He did Anne Frank on Broadway, and he's a working actor, a brilliant actor. And he's also an amazing mindset coach and helps and a dream coach, and he helps people get like blocks out of their way. He's helped a lot of my clients. And so we meet once a month, the 3rd Thursday of the month, and we just chat about whatever we decide to chat about. We'll usually tell you what that's going to be. I just choose a topic and we have a conversation. So, I hope you can join us once a month for James and I. It's very informative and we talk a lot about a lot of things, and James is an amazing person. So I think you'll really enjoy that. But I hope that I see you on Saturday. And okay, let's take some questions. Who has questions? Yes, Guillermo.
Hey, Valerie, I have a question about going into Ridley Scott's office. He's shooting, I think Gladiator 2 is in pre-production right now, and I want to give it a shot and talk to him. And I just want to go to his office, but I need some suggestions or recommendations.
Right. So when you do a drop off to anyone's office, you should always bring a letter or something that is written that you would say to the person if you don't get to meet them. So I would bring, either an actor one sheet or a headshot and resume, or a little letter with your picture. You should always have, in any correspondence that you do with any customer, you should always have your name and face and contact information enclosed. Because people need to know what you look like, and they need to know your name, and they need to know how to get a hold of you. So I think, hey, I'm, I just want to introduce myself. Here's a letter I put together for Ridley. I'd love for you to be able to give that to him. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I think that you can always drop off a little gift. Don't be extravagant, because you don't even know him. He doesn't even know you. But you can always bring like a little, box of tea, or some little cookies, little biscuits or something that an office would enjoy. There's nothing wrong with that. But you don't have to. Esme, who works for us and also was a client for 2 years and got down to the final 2 for Selena, the TV show Selena. I mean, she does tons of Spanish speaking voiceover. She's amazing. She, when she was doing drop-offs, she just would go to the dollar store. In America, we have these things called dollar stores, and like where you get like a thing of candy and she would just fill a little bag with candy and put a little tissue paper in that and drop that off, just to have a little something to drop off. Remember, it's an office environment. So think about what people like in offices. Generally, people like tea bags, or little instant coffee things, because most offices have a coffee type station, right? Or candy or mints or something like that. Or like little cookies, right? So those can be things that can be very helpful. Before COVID, we used to do drop-offs all the time, but a lot of casting offices went, closed up. They don't have offices anymore. So that's really hard to do. But I think drop-offs are still a good idea if you can find an office and walk into an office.
Okay, that helps a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome. Katrina, yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Speaking of customer base, you mentioned film festivals. Could you give a specific example of actions once we are there?
So when you go to any kind of marketing networking event, I think it is important for you to have some sort of card or business card or even digital card so they can have your information. But more importantly, you want to get their information so you can follow up. So when you go to a place, number one, anytime you go to any kind of wrap party or networking event, your objective should be to have fun. Your objective should be to have fun. Because if you go to hobnob, you're going to feel like you need to take a shower after you leave there, and it just feels like nasty, because then you feel like you're trying to impress, and you never want to feel like that. So always go. I learned that lesson very early on, and thank God I did, because I went to a lot of wrap parties when I was working in LA. Like, I went to the True Blood wrap party. I mean, I went to countless. I did a lot of movies and TV shows, and the True Blood wrap party was especially fun because all the food was red, like blood. So it was really great, right? And I mean, I made really great relationships there because I went with the intention to have fun. And my husband went with me, and my husband and I are big foodies. Some of you guys know that. When I was in London, we went to like 4 of the top restaurants. Like, that's what we do. My husband's a chef. We love to eat. So we go to, like, we're all about food. So when we were at the True Blood wrap party, we were just like really enjoying the food and really having a good time, right? And then we were like talking to people and chatting, and we made friendships with people. And I think that's really important to do. And if the situation arises, it's like, if you find a common denominator with someone, it's like, hey, can I have your information? I'd love to follow up with you and let's have coffee sometime. So it's that kind of thing. You can set the intention of meeting 5 new people. And even if you don't get their information, you need to have something that you can write their name down on, so then you can look them up on IMDb or LinkedIn and follow up with them the next day, right? And say, hey, it was great to meet you, and I'd really love to do a Zoom coffee. I mean, it's really great when you get to meet someone in person. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the tips. I've noticed about myself that I'm great at making relationships like personable, intimate relationships, but I struggle to transition from personal to business. I feel ashamed to, I guess, ask for a favor.
Okay, so that's just made up. Your feeling is just made up, right? You're like, don't ever be not proud to be an actor. That's another thing that's really taken away from us, right? And so we're afraid to tell people we're an actor because we have this feeling that they're going to think less of us, or they're going to ask us, what have you been in? Or what have you done? Or what have I seen you in? Right? Like, how many of you guys have that fear? Right? And the thing is, like, what have I seen you in? I don't know, my car on the 101, the grocery store. Like, you can be funny about your answer, right? For you guys in the New Jersey Turnpike, the Garden State Parkway, I'm looking at Gabby, right? So like, that's where you've seen me. Or maybe on New Jersey Transit, right? So you've seen me, don't worry about that. Don't ever be afraid to say, I'm an actor. Well, right now I'm working on reaching out to producers and directors, and that's actually why I'm at this film festival. And so never be afraid to say that's what you're doing. And it's great if you make a relationship. It's just like, sometimes we make a relationship with someone at a party and they don't ask us what we do and we don't ask them what they do, and that's fine. Allow the relationship to unfold. I'll tell you a really interesting story. I had a client that went to Sundance, and she ran into some guy she knew. And he's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, oh, I'm networking. And he goes, ew, like that. And it made her feel bad, right? So she went into the bar and she sat next to this woman. And this woman's like, oh, I'm having a terrible day. They started talking, right? My client and this woman, and they became like friends. Well, come to find out, this woman was a freaking huge producer that was there with this new Julianne Moore movie, and they became friends. And so then, like, she came out to LA and they went out to lunch, and she's like, all this producer wants to do is talk to me about her love relationships and how fucked up they are. And I said, well, just keep talking to her, just be there for her. So eventually they became friends. And of course, eventually Sherry told her she was writing, and then she had this script, and then she ended up coming on as a producer to the film that she was doing. So she let the relationship unfold and didn't force the issue. But don't ever be afraid to say you're an actor, because we are. I mean, like, I deal with this every day, right? I deal with the people that dealing with this every day. So don't ever be afraid of that. Okay? Yes. Hi, Violetta.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. So my question has to do with sort of the ask, basically. So sometimes I have like trouble deciding whether I should ask for an audition or a meeting. And I think to myself, what would be better? Would it be better to like meet this person and like have a conversation with them, or send them an audition tape? And like, that's just going in my head, and like wondering what is better and what will like sort of like.
I think it's better always to ask for an audition if there is a project that they're involved in that you want to be a part of. Okay.
Okay.
So, and I also think knowing you, that it's better if you ask for an audition.
Mhm.
And like, watching your stuff last night, slow down. And you don't need to say everything. Like when you say the storm cloud line, just say that. Like you don't need to say more than that. Violetta, I get who you are. Everyone else gets who you are. You don't need to shove it down their throat, at all. Like, and also you trying to say everything makes you go super fast, and you've got to slow down. And also in general, for a lot of you guys, if you talk fast and you don't pronunciate well, think about getting a mic, right? Like just get a mic, because it will clarify your voice a little better for you guys that don't. But you talk too fast, Violetta. You guys slow down.
I'm also like sick, so my voice is like a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, you have this weird nasally voice, which is really cool and really part of your brand. So just make sure you're really clear.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
And don't rush. Okay. Feel better.
Thank you.
All right. Indra. Hi, Indra.
Hello, Valerie. So, regarding the 5 things that we have to do next week, I've got 2 things that I need to do. One of which is upload my show reel to my Facebook account and my Facebook page, and upload it to Instagram. Can those count towards the list?
Yeah, but like, I bet you that's the kind of stuff that I want you to push yourself beyond that.
Okay.
I want you to write down 5 things that scare you.
Okay.
Because I bet like those are things, like a lot of us are getting ready to get ready, right? We spend a lot of time getting ready to get ready. Like I just started working with this new woman, and I noticed this immediately. Like she has like studied with the best acting teachers, the best voice teachers. And I could tell that every time she got close to taking action in her acting career, she would go off and get another degree, or go off and take another class, or go off and upload her video, or go off and fix her website, or go off and do whatever, or look for an agent. And so we have to watch that in ourselves. Like, what do you do to distract yourself? Like my distraction is TikTok. Not TikTok for actors, but TikTok for like, I have a Valerie Hubbard TikTok that's just like for the things I enjoy on TikTok, which, no offense, but aren't the actor stuff. It's like the politics and the food and the dogs. Those are my 3 things. And so that's something like, when I need to go take another financial course or whatever I'm avoiding, what is the thing that you do? So we all do that. So just like be aware of what is the thing that you do. So I have a feeling that might be a little distraction for you. So for you, Indra, I want you to write down 5 things that scare you.
Okay.
And also, Indra, like this perfectionism that you have in who you are, this particularness of you, I think is really interesting. I think it's funny.
Thank you.
And I think that you should shine the light on that a little bit more. 2 of you guys, I really saw that you need to shine the light a little bit more on your funny. Who was the other one? It's a guy. I'm going to see your name here in 1 second. Where are you? Who was it that I was like, you need to shine your light on you funnier? Which actor on here did I tell that to? Does anyone want to say? It was me. Who was it? It was someone. I'm gonna see, but it was someone I gave notes to last night, and I was like, you are funny. Yeah, you, Sean. I definitely said you, Sean. It was Sean, but it was someone else. It was British guy. What is his name? I don't remember who it was. I'm looking, I'm trying to see if I see his name anywhere. I don't. Anyway, I'll think of it, but I saw him pop on here first thing this morning when I got on here. I mean, just now when I got on here. Yeah, Sean, also, Sean Knack, that's true for you. You're funny and, you need to focus on that a little bit more, because I think that's something that you're missing a little bit. I'm just seeing like if I see this person that I said that to really quick. Let me go through here and see if I see that person. Oh, look at all these amazing faces that I commented on last night. Did you pick up the pace? Reese, you better pick up the pace. I hope you did.
I did. I went bloody crazy.
You did? Okay, I'm gonna go look at it. Let me see if I see who I was telling that to. Now it's gonna drive me crazy. So what did I say, Andrew? I could tell that you were reading. And
I
then-
honestly was not reading, but I know I do realize looking at it, it looked
Oh,
like I was.
it was Nick. Nick, is Nick here? Nick Field? I thought I saw Nick Field pop on.
I saw. Sorry to interrupt. I saw him too. I don't know if he's still here.
Must have left because like he's hilarious. Like
Oh, he is.
I mean, he's hilarious. Okay, great. All right, Indra. So yeah, you got to look right in the camera
Okay. Yeah.
when
yeah.
you're pitching because you were looking down.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. That's what
Okay.
I was doing. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, sometimes like when we're looking at our phone, we got to look here, like where the camera is, right? Remember that, like when we're looking at the phone, because then it looks like we're looking down. All right, thanks, Indra.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, Gabby, hi.
Hey,
Hi, my fellow Jersey girl.
hey, Jersey. So I totally related to what you just said about like distractions and standing in our own way. And I figured since I was facing you and everyone tomorrow, I better like grow a pair and call that office for Tina Fey's production company. So thank you, Sarah. Yes, I found their number. There was no email and numbers scare the shit out of me. But whenever I do it, I'm like, okay, you did it. Like, was it that bad? And like, you could do it again. So I did get someone on the phone and they were like, we had a very funny conversation. Yeah. But they were like, yeah, we don't take unsolicited submissions. And also it's fully cast, which I knew they started production this week. So that was a fear. So anyway, like old Gabby would be like, okay, well, you tried, but I don't really want to do like, obviously this one passed, but like, I don't want there to be like these excuses of like, okay, level. So like let's just say this was a month ago before it was fully cast. Like, would I at that point go to my agent and be like, hey, so I called them and like, you need to be the one to follow up. Like what to you would be the next?
Sarah, why don't we have you tell your little story? Do you feel like telling it?
I can tell it, guys. My daughter has a double ear infection and strep throat, and I think she's given some of it to me. So I apologize for sounding like a frog. So when I hired Valerie in 2012, I wanted the lead role in 50 Shades of Grey. And my agent said, you'd never be seen for that, even though I was a working actor here in LA. So with Val's help, I fired my agent. And I ended up not only getting seen for it, I was on the director's top 10 list and the studio's top 5 without an agent. I was very persistent, which is why I gave you the phone number, Gabby, because I had to call a lot of people. I did not get to the studio because I was on the director's list, because what I did not know at the time, which you guys might all know, is that E.L. James was in charge, the writer of the book. Her production deal was insane and she had so much control. It didn't matter who Sam Taylor Johnson wanted in the role. She was never going to give Sam what she wanted. So I went to a producer friend of mine who had she's a huge producer and she had just cast Get On Up. She literally, the day I talked to her, had just signed the deal with Chadwick Boseman at Universal. So they were very happy to help Trish with anything she wanted help with because they just secured Chadwick before he was Black Panther, but everyone knew his talent then. So she made a phone call to the studio for me and said, look, this girl's on Sam's top 10 list. She's on Francine's top list. You have to see her. And the studio is the one that put me on the top list, and was supposed to get the audition. And now I have like all of these people in my life that were around that project and didn't happen. But obviously I didn't get it, but I made it that far because I did pick up the phone and I went after things. And I got hip pocketed by a huge agency, but they wouldn't help me with anything. And the minute I didn't get it, they dropped me. And my husband works there. So like, there's a lot that you have to do on your own. And I spent 1.5 years doing it. So it was through social media stalking. I was actually friends, and I still am, with Dana Brunetti on Facebook because my husband works at Creative Artists Agency. So when you have those names on your social, like when you have the mutual connections, they don't know how you know them. So then they just want to be friends with you. And I never reached out to Dana. Like that's the one thing. Dana and E.L. James, the two people I never reached out to because I was new at this and I was scared. Those are the two people I would have gone after to have gone even further with it. But you just have to go after it. I wouldn't have told, if I was still with that agent, I wouldn't have told them it's your turn. I would have found another way around. I get why they gave you that answer. The next thing would have been, who's the casting director? Does anyone from Tina's team have Instagram? Instagram's a great tool right now because they don't have to follow you back in order to DM them. Twitter, I got a lot of information from Twitter. Twitter kind of sucks right now, but back in the day, it was awesome with information. A lot of writers write on things on Twitter, so they give like little Easter eggs of projects that they're working on. Tina no longer has Instagram, so you wouldn't be able to get to Tina Fey right now, but it's finding who's connected around those people. Trish Hoffman, who's a huge casting director, had nothing to do with the project. I didn't even know that her project was at Universal, but she was friends with Michael.
You said casting director, she's a huge
producer. She's a huge producer. I didn't even know she was working on a Universal film, but I went after everyone I knew in the industry that might know someone that could help me. But I had more time. That's one thing I'll say about
yeah, and I think that what's important, this is like something I noticed about Nadia, Sarah. So Nadia Brown is one of our clients that is on Harry Potter on Broadway. Well, she left now, she's back. But like Nadia is the one that got a meeting with someone at Viola Davis's company. But like the thing that I always notice about Nadia is like, she's like the frog going across the pond looking for the next lily pad. She's not like going, oh, I can't, it's like when you climb a wall, a rock wall, right? Like sometimes you have to go down to go back up, right? So you get the right footing. And so that's the thing, like, but every little thing that I told her, like I told her about my friends, Kurt and Joni Beauville, and Joni's best friend is Viola Davis. So I told her that. Well, she followed up with them and she kept following up with them. And then she met with them. And now they call her like their little daughter and they love her and they're watching after her because now her career, her TV career is taking off because she pitched herself at the Summer Pitch Fest like 3 years ago and got a really big manager. And now she's having a TV career. And so now she's moving in that direction away from Broadway, right? And so she just kept looking for the next thing. And it's funny, like my cousin, Chad Burris, you probably know who that is, Gabby. Chad Burris was, he's a Broadway actor. He's my cousin. And he was like the last Damien Hubbard in Mean Girls before it closed. Which is hilarious because he's not on the Hubbard side of the family. He's on the Burris side of the family. It's weird. But anyway, he was the last Damien and then it closed. And he, and like Chad is like one of those people. Like Chad, when Chad first got Book of Mormon, he was signed with The Mine. And he wants to do TV. I'm like, you should not be with the Mine if you want to do TV in New York. The Mine is like totally Broadway musical. They're not geared for TV. I said, you should go over to Hardin Curtis. He went over to Hardin Curtis. He got them signed. And then I don't really like Hardin Curtis because they used to be my agents. It's a long story, but like, anyway. So I was like, so he had a sitcom and he got in Almost Famous, but when it was at La Jolla, and he got Cameron Crowe to read his sitcom, and Cameron Crowe did a reading for him with Judith Light and Kate Walsh, right? And then he's like, he's constantly looking to how he can move his career forward, and he has no shame. He calls whoever it is. Like, and I really admire that about him. And I think you know who else is like that is Margot Robbie. People, Margot Robbie pitched herself to Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And people go, well, that's because she was Margot Robbie. She pitched herself to Martin Scorsese when she was no one. She's been like that from the very beginning. So even if you're not a tenacious person and a go-getter person, the more you can train yourself, and I think you are, Gabby, obviously you picked up the phone, the more you can be that person and train yourself to be that person. And remember, you guys, you're actors. So it's just an acting role. So one of the things we're teaching right now in LinkedIn 3, which is the course we're teaching out live right now, is the first lesson was about putting on your boss hat and your boss demeanor and writing this boss persona for yourself. So when you come to work to set up meetings on LinkedIn, you're like a boss bitch, right? And you're like, I'm doing this, and I'm, and you act as if until you feel as if, right? The other thing that makes us very tenacious is if we're really clear about what we want. That's why when I tell you guys to put your dream out in front of you, that's what I mean. Because if you know what you want and you see it, you're going to fucking go get it. Like I told you guys this, if I told you had $1 million right now in your house or your apartment, you would rip up the rugs, you would rip out the walls till you found $1 million. I tell you that your acting career is guaranteed, and you sit there and you're like, well, I might get on a blacklist if I reach out. And I get so pissed at these people that argue with me about, I worked in a casting office and we certainly had a blacklist. Yeah, who was on it? Crazy people. Every office, every company in the world has people that they won't do business with because they're crazy. Every business in New Jersey would not do business with Donald Trump unless they got paid up front. Hello, right? So he was on the blacklist because he didn't pay people, right? And so it's the same with it's the same in this business. Is there lists? Yes. And those people that are on those lists are crazy people, not people that are calling trying to get an audition. Now, if you're calling an office 20 times a day, yeah, they're going to be annoyed because they're trying to run a business. But if you're trying to get an audition for something, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't ever think there's anything wrong with that. Okay? Yay. Keep going. Congratulations, Gabby. I just want to say bravo. So now you're braver. Now you're going to do it more. And now you're going to start reading Deadline every day and seeing what's 6 months out, seeing what's 1 year out. What book did Reese Witherspoon just put on her book list? Because whatever book Reese Witherspoon is putting on her book club list is going to get made into a movie.
Well, it's so funny. Didn't you just say Julianne Moore? Because like this article just popped up that she is joining the executive producer of Mayor of Easttown, who like obviously I know because I worked with him on a new. That'll be on my list for this week.
There
Anyway,
you go. So put it
Yep.
on your list. Great. Awesome. Awesome. Congratulations. Hi, Tal.
Hi.
Hi.
So I'm from Israel originally, and I moved to Spain 3 months ago, and now I'm doing contacts here and workshops. And I got into an agent because one of the casting director has recommended on me,
Uh-huh.
but like I'm without an contract there, and here is everybody with contract. And I wonder if I need to look for another agent or to stay there, because it's a good agent, but I don't feel that she sees me very like serious there. Did
Okay,
you
wait
get
a
it?
minute. Hold on. Do you have a contract? No?
No, because of that, like she told me in the email that she's like, if I want, I can look for another agent, and she will see if until the summer something will come up and will fit to me.
Yeah,
like-
so I wouldn't really worry about looking for another agent. I would be worried about meeting customers, casting directors, producers, and writers, and pointing them in the direction of the agent.
Like to
Right.
say, this is my agent, to tell everybody this is my agent. This is what you say?
Well, you can point them towards that agent if you want, but point them towards yourself. I mean, the more that you're out in the snake pit, so to speak, rustling up your customers, the more business she's going to get. And all an agent is a commission-based salesperson. If you don't have any leads and no one knows who you are, having an agent is a waste of time. Because they have a tremendous amount of leads and they see an immediate way to make money from you, they're not gonna go out of their way. I mean, look, my agent makes money from me. So I'm going to be one of the top of mind clients for him because it's a commission-based job. So if I don't make money, he doesn't make money. So for you guys that are like out there looking for agents and you have no credits, no one knows who you are, you didn't go to RADA or Juilliard, right? Like an agent's a waste of time. It's like most of us are told out of acting school to go to get an agent, but that's the worst advice that acting schools give. It's just ridiculous. It makes no sense because again, why? A person needs to make money. They need to pay their rent. If you're not making any money, they're not making any money. Do you think they're going to focus on you? No. They're focusing on the people that make money for them, right? So if you go out and make relationships with customers, then they will hire you if you tell them through your agent. They'll also hire you without an agent. They don't care. It doesn't matter. So instead of looking for another agent, I would be looking to build relationships with customers.
Okay, so yeah,
Okay.
this is what they do also. Yeah, okay, so, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't sign a contract and they're just, they probably saw like, oh, I maybe can make some money from this girl. Maybe this girl will work, but they didn't really commit to you because they didn't offer you a contract. We're going to see what happens. She's probably submitting you. I don't know. Right. I don't know, That's like a guy telling you, I want to date you, but I want to date other people.
Yeah, this is what I do.
Yeah. Okay, great. One more question. Devor, come on down.
Hi, Valerie.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
So, my dream is to be the new James Bond. And I was lucky enough to meet Barbara at an event, and that was like 9 months ago. So my question is, I wanted to reach out to her. I don't have an contact directly. I spoke to my agent. She's willing to forward my email because she says she has access to reach her. What would you recommend? How to reach her through my agent or directly if I can, and B, what to say?
I would recommend hitting exactly what Sarah just talked about, hitting any part of the thing that you can hit. Going through your agent, it's like there's 100 tubes towards that possibility. What you're telling me when you're telling me you're just going to go through your agent is a tiny little skinny tube to get water through. And you're not putting water through all these other tubes. So I would try everything possible. I would try every producer, director, creator, anyone you can get your stuff in front of. I would get my stuff in front of them. And like when Sarah was trying to get 50 Shades of Grey, she took from the book, she put together a couple of scenes, she had them professionally shot and edited. She sent those because there was no script, right? So the more you can demonstrate your product, the better. So, like some kind of action thing or some kind of, you at a casino with a tuxedo on or whatever, with a hot girl on your, like anything you can to get yourself seen and known to those people. We have a client that went for Spider-Gwen in the DC universe. She created a fan base over a 2-year period, you guys, on Instagram. And she had like people calling the studio, telling them that they should cast her as Spider-Gwen. She created a whole fan thing going on. So there's a lot of things that you can do, but just depending on one person to do it for you is like, no, without you have like the best agent in the world. And even if you do, it doesn't matter. I mean, Margot Robbie did not depend on her agent to get her in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She pitched herself to Tarantino. And she was yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not counting on my agent because at the end, I met Barbara directly, so it wasn't through my agent. But the thing is, well, that's the thing. I don't have her contact details. So
you've got like 6 different ways to follow up with her on IMDb Pro.
Yeah, but I mean,
okay, you just rolled your eyes at me for something that we know works. I'm going to call you out because if you
call me out, no, call me out. It is my bias.
I mean, you can't roll your eyes at it. Like that's how I got as far as I did. You've got to go every avenue. You've got to look and see, is Barbara on social media? You haven't in already. You already had the conversation with her. So you're more likely to be taken seriously because you're following up on a conversation that happened already. She's got production companies. Okay. So she's got her company. She's got 2 versions of it. She's got 2 companies. She's got her legal rep. Just so you're aware, in the United States, if you send something to a lawyer, care of, for their client, they legally have to give it to them. They have to by law. So you address it to her lawyer, and then another envelope inside, Barbara, care of the name of the lawyer, and they have to give it to them. If you have no other avenue, that's what you do if this is the thing you really want to do.
There you go.
Thank you for calling me out.
Yeah. I mean, look, we want you guys to get there, but like, you guys, what happens a lot is we're scared. It's scary. I get that. Right. Or you've heard all this nonsense about how people don't have time for that, or people are really busy. And yet over and over and over. And you guys, I was in acting class with Ed Norton when he got Primal Fear. And he read in Hollywood Reporter, this is the 90s, he read in Hollywood Reporter that they had auditioned. He was nobody. We had the same agent, which was like a low-level agent, right? We both had done regional theater and a couple of independent films. He read in Hollywood Reporter that they were having a hard time finding the guy for Primal Fear. So he sat down, he wrote a letter to the casting director, he sent it to her. He said, when you come to New York, I would like to be seen for it. When she came to New York, she called him in. That afternoon, he was on a plane to go screen test with Richard Gere. So then a few years later, I was teaching at a university, the business of acting. And I was teaching them about letter writing. And some producer asked the students what they were doing. And they said, we're writing letters. And she goes, oh, don't write letters. They don't work. And I said, excuse me, Miss Producer that teaches at a film school, so you must not be that important of a producer. Let me just explain something to you. I was in acting class with Ed Norton when he wrote a letter, and that's how he got Primal Fear, which led to Everybody Says I Love You, which got him an Oscar nomination. So thank you very much for telling my students that letters don't work, because they do work, right? And so there's always going to be deniers and people that tell you no and things don't work. But I'm telling you, I have years, literally years of evidence that what I'm saying works, right? Over and over and over and over again. And so I always tell people, I had a little girl on TikTok the other day that said, she went to this agent that wasn't even her agent on TikTok and said, I hear what she's saying, but I'm afraid. Should I call? And the agent said, never call. So I just said to the girl, I said, is she your agent? She wasn't even her agent, right? She's asking this agent's advice, never call. She's just a fucking agent. And you know what all an agent is? An agent is the truck driver to take the product to the customer. That's it. That's all an agent is. Not that important, right? We are way more important than agents. We are way more necessary than agents. We are way more necessary than casting directors. We are the only people you cannot make a movie without. We are the only people you cannot do a play without. We are the only person, an actor, is it. We are the most important part of the creative process. Writers and directors and producers will argue with me till the cows cut home, but you can make a movie without a producer. You can make a movie without a casting director. You can make a movie without a writer. You can make a movie without even a cameraman. You could turn the camera on automatic and go, right? You cannot make a movie without an actor. Even if you're making an animated actor, a movie, you still need someone to do the voice. Without, you're going to robot that whole thing. So we are it, you guys. We're the most important person in this business. I know it doesn't seem like it, but we are. So remember that when you go and look for a job, they need you. If they don't have you, they can't do their job. And their answer to you might be no at some point, but that, like all the time, that's just like part of it. You have to collect a lot of no's to get to yes. That's just part of being in life. So don't forget that. Thank you for putting yourself out there. Thank you all for putting yourself out there today. Thank you all for putting your list out there. I so appreciate it. I hope I see you on Saturday. I will see you again tomorrow. We have 2 more meetings. Have a great day, everyone. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Valerie.
Bye.